No, seeing is not believing, especially in the age of AI. So if you don't get a grip on how you connect with your reality and what's really real for you and uniquely in your life, at best, you're going to get left behind. And at worst, you're going to be taken advantage of. And we need to talk about it. I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield. This is your business energy flow forecast. What to be on the lookout for in the week ahead from my office here in New Jersey. You can find me at strategicmeditation.com, where I help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. For the last 15 years, I've been helping spiritually minded individuals who are self-employed increase their energy so they can increase their income and impact. If that's you or someone that you know and love, go ahead, like, share, and subscribe to this platform. I would love to keep in touch, and that also lets the algorithm know that, hey, this is valuable and more people need to know about it. With that, we've got to talk about seeing is not believing now more than ever, right? So be kind to yourself. If you're taking in a lot of information and seeing a lot of things that are starting to make you worried and fearful about your future. Did you know that it is very profitable for you to be fearful about your future? Not for you. Not for you. It is profitable for whoever wants to harvest your energy, harvest your currency, harvest your attention. It's profitable for them as long as they can activate your limbic system with fear to make you anxious. They have now got you in their agenda, in their funnel, right? If we want to bring a business term into that for marketing's sake, right? Be kind to yourself. If the more that you interact with technology, social media, the news, or people who are very involved with TikToks and YouTubes and podcasts and things, right? If you're following people and interacting with people who are freaked out about the future, they are in a fear-based funnel. Did you know that? Did you know that? It's time for us to open our eyes, open your third eye, and see through the fact that it's not always what it looks like. Seeing is not believing. We've covered in a previous episode, it was last year, the concept of the liar's dividend. It pays for there to be AI-generated voices, in images, and news reports, and even AI-generated reviews to make things look better or look crazier or look more popular and intense than they actually are. Be kind to yourself. If you're being pulled into a fear-based funnel, or if you love someone who's pulled into a fear-based funnel, we want you to have a spirit of faith and not fear. We want you to have a spirit of strength and not weakness. You are not here to be harvested from. You are here to create, contribute, and to be a force for positive disruption. That, by the way, this is the second of our 4-episode sprint. That is our theme, looking at what's stopping you from being a positive disruptor, and that is a dysfunctional relationship with technology. We are being rendered myopic. So I have myopia, which means I'm nearsighted. So I can see the lines on my hand here, and then I bring it out, and now I can't. So I'm very nearsighted. And so when we are afraid, we naturally actually become even more myopic. Our bodies and our brains bring in our attention to the immediate environment, just what's ahead. Whereas if Spirit has called you to be a visionary, if Spirit has called you to be a leader, right, to be a generational curse breaker for your family, for your community, if you've been called to be that, you cannot afford to be so myopic, to be so sucked in. Be kind to yourself. It's time to release any illusions that are fueling you being in fear, because there's always a way around everything. Nothing is over until it's over. You never have to settle for the circumstances that have gathered around you. You are a transformer. You are more than meets the eye, okay? There's so much more to you than what you may even be looking at in your physical environment. There's so much more going on in a person's situation than what you see in their Instagram feed. Be kind to yourself. It's not what it looks like anymore. Technology is draining our creative energy, and it is sucking that soul force away out of us. And the more that we lose that, the less energy we have left to go and be a force for positive change. Beware and be kind to yourself, right? Let's have a more empowering and energizing and healing relationship with technology. Let's take the things that we see on the screens with a grain of salt. A grain of real salt. Shout out to Real Salt. They're not a sponsor, but yay. Very healing for the body. All that wonderful minerals in real salt. So with that, let's take a look at our scientific article of the day. Because to support us in being able to be present in our own power and to be present to our strength as conscious creators, rather than feeling squished in the fear funnel, what's going to help us do that is this wonderful scientific analogy of VR and XR. So the technology of extended reality, machines and entertainment really helps bring an interesting philosophical and scientific perspective to being more than meets the eye, knowing that seeing is not believing, because in fact we have technology right now that has the ability to cause you to think this construct that you're looking at, right, the screen, is real, and cause your brain to react as if it was real. And it has some pretty creepy repercussions. Let's take a look at it. Let's raise our awareness so that we are empowered to know that seeing isn't always believing. We're going to go into an article from researchgate.net, where they have lots and lots of wonderful journalistic papers. And it says, Impact of XR on Mental Health. Are we playing with fire? Written by Benjamin Kenwright. And this article goes into some of the adverse psychological effects technology overuse can have on human behavior, mind, our physiology. Let's take a look at it. Risks and benefits of XR. Extended reality is XR. Extended reality solutions can be designed to create immersive experiences that manipulate a user's perception and emotions. Taking into consideration these experiences can be diverse, from being on a virtual farm, right? You have the headset on and you feel like you're at the farm, to simulated fight scenes, right? You're playing a game and you're inside you have your headset on and you're fighting. Take violent experiences containing gore and other disturbing content may cause distress, anxiety, or other long-term mental problems. Hence, it is important to be mindful of the potential psychological impact of the XR content. The dangers and impact of XR and related subcategories like virtual reality, VR, or mixed reality, MR, have been discussed in the literature, emphasizing ethical and moral dilemmas. It is also worth noting that technologies are rapidly advancing, creating XR experiences that can feel incredibly real and intense, which may lead to a temporary dissociation from reality. This can be dangerous or worrying, especially if the experience is particularly intense, immersive, and emotionally charged, to leave a lasting impression, impacting a person's life in the real world. Overall, while it is unlikely that XR will be used to intentionally brainwash or manipulate users, it's important for users to be educated on the potential psychological impact of XR experiences and to be aware of any dangers or risks. Pause. What was that? So XR, meaning virtual reality experiences, are so powerful. Our digital life is so immersive that it can cause psychological damage if we're not careful, right? What you expose yourself to on a regular basis matters, because, okay, you may be reading it in your phone or watching it on your TV or on your laptop, but if the content that you are consuming bridges out now into the real world, where you are really having high blood pressure, where you are really feeling anxious or depressed, where you are really looking out at the future thinking, wow, we have no hope, we are going straight down, simply because you exposed yourself to negative content, that is a red flag. And the technology, by the way, is only getting more powerful and also only getting more accessible, so that more and more people can create more and more compelling content that affects us, the end user, psychologically. Unpause. XR has a cost. It's no secret that XR affects our brains, extended reality or virtual reality. In moderation, most users like the way it makes them feel happier, less stressed, and more sociable. Science has verified the benefits of XR's feel-good effect. PET scans have shown that XR releases endorphins, which is pleasure hormone, which bind to opiate receptors in the brain. Although excessive use of XR is linked to an increased risk of dementia, decades of observational studies indicated that moderate XR use, defined as no more than an hour a day, no more than an hour of screen time a day, is considered moderate. Unpause. Decades of observational studies indicated that moderate XR, defined as no more than an hour a day, had few ill effects. Whoop they freaking do. However, recent studies have contradicted this, indicating that even moderate usage impacts areas of the brain involved in cognition and learning. So the writer goes on to explain how a lot of these studies, by the way, are funded to make the devices look good. So more often than not, scientific studies of the psychological effects of screen time is to say, like, oh, it's okay, you'll be fine. But be kind to yourself. There are real psychological behavioral effects of how much time we spend in front of screens. Unpause. People think and behave differently in virtual environments than they do in the real world. By studying the phenomenon of contagious yawning, for example, researchers learned that people's reactions in virtual reality can be quite different than what they are in actual reality. They found that contagious yawning happens in VR, but people's tendency to suppress yawns when they have company or feel they're being watched don't apply in the VR environment. Further, when people immersed in VR are aware of an actual person in the room, they do stifle their yawns. Virtual reality offers escapism, a powerful and dangerous fact of internet users, especially in video game addicts. An early groundbreaking study compared professional electronic sport players, or esport players, with recreational video game players and explores the similarities and differences between what motivates each group. While the two groups are psychosocially different, they found that both esport and recreational gamers run the risk of developing internet gaming disorder when their intense immersion in the activity is tied to escapism. Pause. All of that is to say, how we act when we're online and no one can see us is different, right? With the contagious yawning. Like if you think no one can see you, you're going to act different. When people think you can't see them, they're going to act different. They're going to put out a different story than when we're actually face to face physically in the same room. On top of that, when you tie your internet use to, oh, I'm just unwinding, or I just want to escape my life, or I just want to relax, I want to unplug. You're going to plug in to unplug. That actually fuels the addictive centers of your brain. Unpause. Video game players frequently exposed to graphic content may see the world differently. Disturbing imagery disrupts perception, but not as much as among violent video game players, psychologists have shown. People who frequently play violent video games are more immune to disturbing images than non-players. A UNSW-led study into the phenomenon of emotion-induced blindness gathered that children's violent video game play associated with increased physical aggressive behavior. Violent video game play by adolescents is associated with increases in physical aggression over time, according to Dartmouth's meta-analysis published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Okay. Tying it back to, this is not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. When we engage in the Netflix binge, right, or the Crunchyroll binge, if that's more of your vibe, or Disney Plus, or Amazon Prime binge, or Hulu, when we engage in screen time to escape, there are so many secondary negative effects that it has on our brains, especially around addiction and susceptibility to brainwashing and desensitization. When you spend more time watching the drama going on, right, in the news, right, or on social media and all these different things, when you spend your time doom scrolling, you are getting desensitized to your real life. You'll get wrapped up thinking that this is you having a life. Watch what you look like. Let me grab my other phone. Watch what you look like when you look like you're having a great time. Living your best life. This is what you look like. For hours a day. I have clients that come to me and they're like, I don't know why I don't have the energy to go out and get more clients, or I don't know why I'm not further ahead than I could be right now, or I don't know why I'm alone. Again, let me show you what you look like. This is you 3 hours straight. This is you being a successful, fully actualized person, being healthy, like, is this what healthy looks like? Seeing is not believing. Seeing is not believing. When you look in the mirror and you see a certain level of expression in your body, don't look at that and say, that's it. You are so much more. And you got to be careful what you take in, right? Because this tiny little cell phone world is a virtual reality. It is a construct that sucks your attention, sucks your life force out of you, sucks your creativity out. We want to release that, clear that off of you so that you can get an energy refund, right? Get your power back and be able to make effective change. Now we're going to head on over to what does Napoleon Hill have to contribute to our it's not what it looks like situation, because as you're scrolling through all of everyone celebrating their wins on social media, it's not what it looks like. And then you look around your own life and you're like, well, I'm a piece of crap, right? Because what am I doing? What you're looking at, that's not what it looks like. You're doing so much better than you think. There's another way to get around this. And that's by intentionally pursuing your own rebirth, by intentionally studying what's going to help you, what's going to lift you up. And it's intentionally as in doing it from the inside out. Napoleon Hill is going to explain this much better than I can. He's going to take us into his process for doing just that. By instead of allowing the cell phone and all of the virtual reality, all of the lies, all of the digital life inside of this tiny little machine to consume your energy, you can actually allow yourself to be shaped by greatness. You can allow yourself to be poured into and reborn. Let's take a look at how Napoleon Hill brings this in. So again, this is chapter 14 in Think and Grow Rich, the sixth sense. He says, while I was passing through the age of hero worship, I found myself trying to imitate those whom I most admired. Moreover, I discovered that the element of faith with which I endeavored to imitate my idols gave me great capacity to do so quite successfully. I'm going to pause right there. So rather than looking at what's Kim Kardashian doing, rather than looking into your phone, into your devices, trying to look at whoever, whatever you're trying to follow. Well, I have no idea what she's up to and I could care less, but whatever, fine, Kim Kardashian. Rather than looking at and liking her photo or commenting and being like, oh, or sharing, all of that, instead of digitally doing that, what if instead you were to put your phone down once you knew what she's doing and then go and try and imitate that? Put the laptop down and go and try and live it out rather than continuing down the rabbit hole. Wonder what would happen, who you would become if you tried to emulate whoever's photos you're liking. Don't just like, imitate. It's the highest compliment, by the way, right? Get out there and take a different action. You are so much more. And by the way, if you think what she's doing is easy, once you try to imitate it, you're going to find out real quick. It actually is not what it looks like. Seeing, like, When you see her making things look easy, seeing is not believing, trust me. Let alone, like, can even think of retouching alone. Seeing is not believing. Unpause. Let great men shape your life, Napoleon Hill says. I have never entirely divested myself of this habit of hero worship. My experience has taught me that the next big thing to being truly great is to emulate the great by feeling and action as nearly as possible. Long before I had ever written a line for publication or endeavored to deliver a speech in public, I followed the habit of reshaping my own character by trying to imitate the 9 men whose lives and works had been most impressive to me. Napoleon Hill says, these 9 men were Emerson, Paine, Edison, Darwin, Lincoln, Burbank, Napoleon, Ford, and Carnegie. That's Napoleon, like the general. Every night, the emperor. Every night over a long period of years, I had an imaginary council meeting with this group who I called my invisible counselors. If you work with me, we call those spirit guides. Unpause. The procedure was this. Just before going to sleep at night, I would shut my eyes and see in my imagination this group of men seated with me around my council table. Here I had not only an opportunity to sit amongst those whom I considered to be great, but I actually dominated the group by serving as the chairman. I had a very definite purpose in indulging my imagination through these nightly meetings. My purpose was to rebuild my own character so it would represent a composite of the characters of my imaginary counselors. Realizing, as I did early in life, that I had to overcome the handicap of birth in an environment of ignorance and superstition, I deliberately assigned myself the task of voluntary rebirth through the method that I've described above. Tying this back to, it's not what it looks like. Seeing is not believing. Napoleon Hill explains right there that where he started is not where he ended up. His initial circumstances, where he grew up was with negativity and superstition, I believe was the word that he used, where small-minded people, small expectations, not much to go on. You know, he worked for Carnegie for free for 25 years, right? He didn't come from anything. But through the power of his own mind and targeted research, right, reading on these greats, by his imagination, night after night after night after night, he was able to rebuild and rebirth himself. He became that transformer, right? Where what you see is so nowhere near what's going on underneath. And in that chapter, by the way, on the Sixth Sense, Napoleon Hill admits how embarrassed and ashamed he is to share that he would imagine these counselors. These people probably for many years did think I was crazy. But lo and behold, one of the best-selling books of all time changed millions upon millions upon millions of lives, decade after decade. This book right here, Think and Grow Rich, came from that mental nightly exercise of, I'm going to allow great people to shape me. He created his own virtual reality, one that benefited him in his mind, rather than going by default, following the drama, and being on the sidelines. Instead of allowing technology to keep you on the sidelines, what we're learning from Napoleon Hill here is that when we, instead of the technology, use our imagination, which is deeply tied to intuition, when we use the power of our own minds intentionally, we can actually completely change ourselves and have that much more energy to go out and test and try, take action, rather than stay like, okay, well, I'm gonna do it again be crumpled up. This is you being the most authentic version of yourself. For hours and hours, days and days, months and months, years and years. Versus, okay, I caught some inspiration. All right, I'm going to go try. Let me go try. Let me go try and see what it is, right? Let me dress more of the part and see how I feel when I dress the part of success. By the way, I'm doing that, right? That shifts my energy. Someone that I emulate, I love Halle Berry's style. I love her style. So for me, that is something that when I emulate that, it gives me energy. Or another mentor, someone that, a great person who shapes me is Abraham Hicks, right? Another person who's shaped my ability to perform on camera is Elliot Hulse. Right? Where for me at the end of the day, I could completely mess up and botch what I'm trying to say. But the final question that I asked myself, I got from Elliot Hulse, is, was I sincere? If the answer is yes, upload. And I'm going to send it to you because I'm going to give you my heart. And it's my sincerity that continues to connect with the people who I'm supposed to work with. Yes, yes. Go ahead and type that in the comments below. Sincere. Was I sincere? So all of this we're bringing together around seeing is not believing. It's opening your eyes and releasing the chokehold that all this technology has on your mind and your creative spirit. You have so much more. You have so much more than you think. But you're being taught to think that you don't have anything and that things are getting worse and worse over time. Be kind to yourself if that's the situation. Tarot card of the week is Life Experience as a Challenger. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. 16 in the major arcana. So it says you drew this card because a recent event has been a wake-up call for you to make some life changes. This may be a new revelation or something you've known but have been procrastinating about. Now you've realized that the situation can't be ignored and action is necessary. I'm going to stop right there. We're resisting the wake-up call. You're distracted, again, with the technology. You're allowing technology to distract you from the positive disruption that is naturally ready to come out of you. It's so ungrounding. It is so draining. The dysfunctional relationship you and I both have with technology, and we got to get it together. And so what are we going to do about it so that we can turn this right side up and receive and step into and own the revelation, right? That's come from our own life experiences. What are we going to do? Strategic meditation, of course. Let me get our handy dandy meditation tracker from our school membership platform for February. Go ahead and log on to School Now. And we're going to type into the search bar, grounding chakra meditation. Again, that's grounding chakra meditation. Chakra is C-H-A-K-R-A. And that's in the deep relaxation stress relief meditations section of the Vault of Visualizations. It's 19 minutes. And so the reason why we need to do a strategic meditation is we could talk about all of these concepts, but now we need to embody it, right? Get into your body, get out of your tech and into your body. And that's the essence of what grounding is. Shout out to you, by the way, if you've read my book, Natural Intuition Now, where the largest chapter in there is exactly how to ground and how to tell how you're ungrounded. It's on Amazon Prime, 2-day ship. You just search Sensei Victoria Whitfield in Amazon if you want my book, Natural Intuition Now, you can get it. But long story short, for those of you who are on school, you have it already, by the way, in your vault. And what we want to do though is that grounding meditation to get you out of the tech, out of all of the virtual reality, all the stories, all the constructs that have been sucking your energy dry, get you out of the tech and back into your body. Now, as we come to the end of this week's video, you may be thinking, okay, I need some more support. This is what I need to hear, or this is what my team needs to hear. Victoria, can we connect? Absolutely. So all the information in the description of this video is there, or you could go to talkwithvictoria.com, or at my website. Strategic Meditation has all of the contact info that you need. Hop on my calendar and talk to me so that we can get you the support that you need, or I can connect you with someone who can help. So I'm sending you so much love. Don't give up. Spread your wings, right? Shift your state. You are capable of transforming. You are so much more than meets the eye, right? Seeing at this point is no longer believing, right? Your action is what's going to make you believe. Go out there and crush it. Mwah. You do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. Bye for now. See you in the next one.